So I spent 4 days in January in a woodsy cabin in Asheville, North Carolina, writing goals for the year. And some people call this process writing New Year's resolutions. Some people call it goal setting. Whatever you'd like to call it. One of the biggest things on my list for the year was to spend spring break somewhere as cold as humanly possible. And it was to do something that people always say you should do at least once before you die. What I'm talking about, of course, is seeing the Aurora Borealis. Now, I just got back from 4 days in a little city in Canada called Yellowknife, where I spent the nights taking in the Aurora Borealis. It was spectacular, just an electric ribbon that rips across the sky in turquoise and pink. And temperatures would drop to 40 to 50 degrees below zero, cold enough that as I would breathe outside, the condensation from my breath in real time would actually form icicles in my facial hair. And that was completely new for me. Now, getting to actually accomplish this, knock it off my bucket list, was a fantastic feeling. But I guarantee you that if instead of doing this in my woodsy cabin, I had done it as a traditional New Year's resolution, there's no way I ever would have gotten to see the Aurora Borealis. Hi everyone, as Anupam said, my name is Austin Yoder, and what I'm here today to discuss with all of you is the internet and the end of New Year's resolutions. So I'm going to call for an end to the institution of New Year's resolutions as it currently exists, and then I'm going to spend a little bit of time with you all rethinking what New Year's resolutions should be all about. So if we're going to rethink New Year's resolutions, I feel like we need to first ask ourselves what it is that New Year's resolutions intend to accomplish. What is their purpose? I think that New Year's resolutions fundamentally are about becoming happier, building a healthier life, and finding more meaning and direction in our own lives. Now, these are all fantastic and worthy ideas that we have to grapple with, but for something as weighty as becoming happier and building a meaningful life, New Year's resolutions are completely broken. 1 out of every 3 people before February, less than 1 month, will give up on their New Year's resolutions. And before the end of 1 full year, 4 out of every 5 people will abandon their New Year's resolutions. For becoming happy, those figures are terrible. Next. Here's why I think that happens. I have 3 main problems with New Year's resolutions. The first is that they're not systematic. That means usually what happens is a couple of days before January 1st, people whip out a notepad and they write down that they want to lose weight, they want to hit the gym more, put more money in the bank, and their resolutions may be restricted to health or finances or relationships, but they don't take a very comprehensive approach to building a better life. The second problem that I see with New Year's resolutions is that there's no mechanism for accountability built into them, right? They're extremely easy to forget, and they're extremely easy to give up on because nobody's helping to keep us on track. The third problem, and what I see as the biggest problem with traditional New Year's resolutions, is that they're entirely a one-way street. So let's say that I resolve to lose 10 pounds by February the 1st, right? Let's further say that I, in fact, lose 10 pounds by February the 1st. Great, pat myself on the back. I'm going to be feeling better. I'm going to be looking better. I'm going to have a lot of self-confidence. But the progress that I make over the course of that month is restricted entirely to myself. That progress doesn't extend beyond me to help or inspire anyone else in the world. So those are the main problems that I see with New Year's resolutions. And we're going to spend a little bit of time right now rethinking New Year's resolutions. So New Year's resolutions, in an ideal and new model, should be systematic. They should have a mechanism for accountability built into them. And I think that they should be a two-way street. Systematic. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about concretely, in my woodsy cabin in North Carolina, what I did is I took my life and I broke it down into its most important categories. So these are the categories for me, things like health, relationships, finance, business, travel. I love to travel. And what I did is I took those categories and I further broke them down into subcategories. So you can see these are actually the goals that I set. Thought I would open up to all of you. And so for the subcategories, what I did is I thought about what was working well in those areas of my life, what wasn't working so well in those areas of my life, and I set goals to challenge myself to grow in literally every aspect of my life. The second thing that a new model of New Year's resolutions should have is a mechanism for accountability, right? So after I wrote down all of these goals, what I did is I typed them up in an email, I put them in the mind map, which you just saw pictures of, and I sent them out to my closest friends and family around the world. This is where the internet really starts to come in handy, because as you can see, my closest friends and family, my existing social support network, lives everywhere from California down to Texas, all the way out to Doha in the Middle East. And in order to tap into that network and get support from them, I mean, there's just simply no other way that I could use them without the internet. So I sent out my goals to them and I said, please help me stay accountable to these goals, right? When it looks like I'm getting off track, please help me get back on track. And to give you an idea of how this works, one of my goals for health for the year was to weigh 200 pounds and be at 15% body fat by March 1st, right? Incredibly specific. And this was going to be a massive problem for me because of my sweet tooth. I have a very big sweet tooth. So what I did to work with that is I set up a food blog where every day before I sat down to eat a meal, I would whip out my phone, take a picture of that food, and post it to the blog, right? So I shared this blog with my friends and family, and I said, whenever you happen to think of it, just check in on me, see if I'm on track with my diet or not. It was great. I actually got down from about 21% body fat in late December to like 15.5 by March 1st, 15.5% body fat. So I considered that a success. But when, for example, I cheated on the evening of, March the 7th, and after dinner I had, and this is a direct quote, gobs of Nutella as a snack, interesting things start to happen. My mother called me up the next day, and she said, Austin, what are you doing eating so much Nutella if you're trying to maintain 15% body fat? And that support, that accountability, helps me stay on track. And you can bet that when I know that I'm going to have my mother on the other end of the phone, when I start thinking about eating Nutella, it helps keep me honest. So the third thing, and I think the most important thing, that a new model of New Year's resolutions absolutely has to have, is that it has to be a two-way street. This is my Uncle Vernon, and there are a couple of things that you should know about Uncle Vernon. He is 75 years old. He's one of the most energetic, creative, and amazing men that I know. But in recent years, Uncle Vernon has been facing some health problems. And those health problems have given him a little bit of a scare, and some other members of my family a bit of a scare. So after I sent out all of my goals to my friends and family, Uncle Vernon called me up, and he said, Austin, thank you so much for sharing your plan for the year with me. It got me thinking differently, he said, thinking differently. He said it helped him to realize that what he needed in his own life, what he wanted for a better sense of control and direction, was life planning and a sharper focus on health consciousness, just like with my food blog. Now, that conversation may not seem very significant to some of you sitting in this room, but I took it as a tremendous victory because in that moment where Uncle Vernon was thinking differently, his daily routine was interrupted, right? The way that he thought about things normally was changed, and he was considering small, concrete things that he could do in his own life to build a better sense of happiness and direction. Now, my understanding of TED is that we're all gathered here today to share good ideas with each other, right? To spread good ideas that will somehow have a positive impact on the people in this world. That's basically what we're here for, right? The speeches that we've heard today, I've been listening backstage, have been fantastic. I would just like to take the remainder of my time to remind all of you that you don't have to be standing on a stage to share good ideas with the people that matter most to you in life. You can spread good ideas and have a positive impact on people from your car, on the phone, from your office, from your home, anywhere, right? The old model of New Year's resolutions is about planning out your life so that you grow as an individual, so that you make progress in certain specific areas of your life, but it stops at you. Regardless of what the most important goal to you right now might be, whether that's to lose some weight, to hit the gym a couple more times a week, or to get up into the subarctic to see the northern lights, that's great. Own that and work your butt off to make that happen. But don't let that progress stop at you, because you can leverage that progress with your own Uncle Vernon, with your friends and your family members. If you share that story, the narrative of your progress over the course of 1 year, and you invest other people in your goals and your growth, you're going to have an impact on them. They're going to start thinking differently, right? So with old New Year's resolutions, you're growing as an individual and it stops there. With this new model of New Year's resolutions, you're planning out your life so that not only do you grow as an individual, but you help other people grow as individuals also. That's all I got. Thank you.